Hi, I'm Adam C and welcome to the Practical Classics Classic Car and Restoration Show, and this, the Classic Car Auction by Iconic Auctioneers. But today, classic has a whole new meaning. Let me show you around. Typically, when you think classic car, you think Mark 1 Escort. But these days, more and more cars from the noughties are mixing in with this classic era of cars. You've got the twin-turbo V10 Audi RS6 amongst so many more. There are 270 cars here, and I'm going to pinpoint my favourites, including this flat bow Porsche 911. So the flat bow or flat nose or slant nose Porsche 911s were inspired by classic race cars, the Porsche 935 for example, increasing front end downforce, creating a much better aerodynamic car. This car is a 911 SC, but has had the turbo engine conversion. It's been professionally upgraded to the 930's 3.3 litre turbo engine and professionally converted by Dage Sports to this flat nose specification back in 1989. With an estimate between 34 to 40,000 pounds, I think for a 911 turbo effectively and a flat nose is remarkable value. But heading to the top, I have found this very striking TVR Tuscan, one owner from new, finished in this tropical green paintwork. Now TVR are very well known for their paint colours, but this is a paint to sample colour. It's apparently a Vauxhall colour, but I can't find any evidence of Vauxhall tropical green in their history. So if anyone knows, let me know. This is quite a high mileage car as well. From its single owner, it's done over 150,000 miles. It's had 2 engine rebuilds, one in 2011 and then again 7 years later. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to JDM royalty, the Mark IV Toyota Supra. This is the RZ model twin turbo, which was the highest spec in 1995. The 3-litre 2JZ GTE with 326 horsepower, and this one is bone stock. It is automatic, it's on 103,000 kilometres, and the estimate on this is between 30 to 35,000 pounds. I remember when a manual example was nearing and nudging the 30 grand mark, and now this bog standard example is ready for sale for about 30 grand. Now we've got a few dupes in this auction, but when you look closer, someone's just started a Ferrari. They're not actually dupes at all. So this example is a 20-valve non-turbo model, one of the final cars in the production run, estimate between 5 to 6,000 pounds, whereas this one is a 20-valve turbo 6 model. The estimate's between 10 to 12,000 pounds. So similar cars, one's turbos, one's not. That one's in the 60,000 mile region, this one's in the 40,000 miles, so it's done fewer miles, but that is your price difference between the non-turbo and your turbo models. There are 51 Fords in this auction of various states. Some of them require recommissioning and some of them are very low mileage cars, much like this Ford Fiesta. So this is a gear model and it's only done 8,575 miles from new, and you can tell the condition is absolutely phenomenal. And then we have this Mark 1 Mondeo, the 2-litre SI specification, which has sports suspension and alloy wheels. This car has only done 5,739 miles. It was bought in 2012 and has barely been used since. It's been stored in a carcoon, so has been preserved in this absolutely pristine condition. But welcome to perhaps the most surprising pair in the auction. We'll start with this Subaru WRX STI. They actually dropped the Impreza name for this generation. We talk about low mileage cars. This has only done 51 miles. Not 51,000, 51 miles. They were about 30 grand when they were new, this one being the Type UK version for the UK market, but the estimate on this is between 40 to 50,000 pounds in crystal white pearl. So the owner literally bought it from new and hasn't driven it really at all, and now he's gained, maybe if it all goes well, 10 to 20,000 pounds on his Subaru. And then we come to the Alfa Romeo Giulietta, which I actually have the keys for, because this car is just one of 6. It was built and commissioned by MTV to celebrate the launch of Fast and Furious 6, and inside the car, I might have to go around the other side. We have a dashboard signed by the cast. Let's be a bit more sensible about this. So, apparently, Within this archive, you've got Paul Walker, you've got Vin Diesel, Tyrese Gibson, and this is all protected under a clear film to preserve these autographs. Only 6 were commissioned. Not all of them were in red, but if you ask me, red is the colour to go for your Alfa Romeo. A very rare piece of history for both film fanatics and car guys. 16 to 20,000 pounds might sound quite strong for an Alfa Romeo Giulietta, but with the Fast and Furious 6 commemorative plaque inside, you will always know that you are driving a rare piece of film history. And welcome to another grouping of cars. These are 2 out of the 3 red Vauxhall VX220s in this auction, and they are all different. So starting with this one, this is quite a desirable car, the Vauxhall VX220 Turbo. So it's got Vauxhall's 2-litre Z20 turbocharged engine rather than the 2.2 in the naturally aspirated examples. It's got 200 horsepower, which is over 50 horsepower more than the NA car. And the NA car is parked over here. This is the 3rd example. So this has the 2.2 litre engine in the middle. This car has done 10 times the mileage of the turbocharged example. 118,000 miles in this and 11.6 thousand miles in the turbo model. So this car is estimated to receive about 8 to 10,000 pounds and the turbo model about 18 to 22,000. So 10,000 pounds more. But what about the one at the front? I hear you yell at the screen unusually. This is not a VX220. This is a Vauxhall VXR 220, a track-focused version, and was the first Vauxhall to ever wear the VXR badge. And it's so rare, they made 65 of these in total, this one being at number 58 with only 3,000 miles on the clock. So your turbo gets 200 horsepower, above 145 total on the NA car, and then this one has 220 horsepower in the VXR Ultimate Edition of the 220. But perhaps unsurprisingly, the estimate is 28 to 34,000 pounds for this one of 65 VXR 220. And with so many Fords around, I thought it'd be rude to not show you another one. So we've got the Escort Cosworth, we've got the Heritage Edition Ford Focus RS Mark III next to the Ford Focus RS Mark I. Pretty decent pair in this. This has only done 71 miles in this Heritage Edition RS. The estimate between 80 to 90,000 pounds. They were a limited run car, to be fair, finished in this unique orange. And when you consider they only made 50 of these, and then they made 10 times the amount of Sierra RS 500 Cosworths. So they made 500 of these going by the name. And some ways to tell the difference between your standard Cosworth, if you can call them standard, and the RS 500 is RS 500s have this extra little lip at the bottom here, as well as the same rubber strip on the top of their whale tail. There are badges around the car as well to denote the RS 500, and they removed the fog lights on the front. So they were homologated track focus cars with an extra 20 horsepower over the original 204 horsepower, and the estimate is 80 to 100,000 pounds on this, so very similar to the Heritage Edition Focus RS Mark III. And this is a Signet. How fun. So this was built in collaboration between Aston Martin and Toyota. I'm sure you all know this, so that Aston Martin could comply with EU-imposed fleet average emissions regulations. So because they could produce these Signets, they could then produce their more performance models and lower their average of emissions down. So it's still got your small 4-cylinder 1.3 litre Toyota engine up front, and this one is an automatic example. Now these were about £30,000 when they were new. This one's estimated to receive between 20 to 25, but I've always thought these have held their value forever. They've never really dipped at all. That is the lowest estimate I've seen on a Signet, and this one is featured in quite pristine condition as well. But let's move away from Britain, can I pet that dog, and go to America for this Oldsmobile 442 Cutlass. This is a clone of a pro street car, which were drag races that were meant to be driven to the drag strip and then able to put drag tyres on the rear whilst retaining its original body. It's got a 6.6 litre big block V8, 4-speed manual as well. Next in the lineup we have a Pontiac Firebird from 1969 and a custom Chevy Special Deluxe. So this has been inspired by the gasser scene in the US and has probably the largest engine in the auction with an 8.3 litre Chevrolet V8. So to give it that gasser stance, it's got a chopped and raked roof. It's been de-bumpered and even has a groove cut out to display that 502 cubic inch V8 in the front. It's been used sparingly, so probably does require recommissioning. It was imported into the UK in 1982. And from gasser to lowrider, we have this Chevrolet Impala, a 1962 SS. It's a two-door super sport model, one of only 11 UK registered 1962 Impalas, and this is probably the most beautiful looking car with this aquamarine paintwork in the auction. Of course, it's got hydraulic lowering suspension and it's got a 5.7 litre V8 that's been rebuilt in 2013, unleaded compatible with 335 horsepower. Now, I've uploaded this on the Friday and the first part of this auction takes place tomorrow. That's auction lots 101 to 246, and then on Sunday is lots 301 onwards to the end. So if you want to see any of these cars, check out the link in the video description to find out all the information that you need. But you now join me, hello guys, at a Japanese lineup. So we'll start with the A86 Toyota Corolla. This is a beautiful car, the twin cam. It's been restored in 2022, bare metal respray, and has only done fewer than 2,500 miles since then. It was a JDM delivered car, first UK registered in 2010, estimated between 30 and 40,000 pounds. And it neighbours this Subaru Impreza Turbo. This car is very special because it was owned by the McRae family. And once again, I've got the keys for you. I should have unlocked it. Inside, it has been signed on the sun visors by some of the family. So we can see on the driver's side, Jimmy McRae's signature. That is Colin McRae's father. He was also 5 times British Rally champion. And then on the passenger side, we've got Alistair McRae and his son Max. So Alistair is Colin McRae's brother. He's also a British Rally champion. So very special ownership. Colin McRae is believed to have driven this car during their possession too. It's also a former Subaru UK press car, and then the McRae family had it between 96 and 1999. It's had its engine rebuilt in 2022, replacement brakes all round and a new OEM exhaust system, but has been sat for a little while. The estimate 15 to 20,000 pounds for a McRae family Subaru Impreza. We then go down to a Subaru Impreza wagon. It's another 2000 turbo model, much like the McRae car, but it's a wagon. But without the McRae history and heritage, estimate between 5 to 7,000 pounds. Now we go to this Mazda RX-7, which I did not notice is really dark olive green. But something that you won't notice is this is LS powered. So this was originally a US delivered car in 1993, hence it being wrong hand drive. And it was of course in the States where it underwent the V8 conversion to replace its fairly unreliable rotary engine. So you got the custom paint color, that wild diffuser at the back of it, a free flowing exhaust for its V8, even a little lip at the top. You've got the full roll cage, and we've got the bride bucket seats as well as a hydraulic handbrake inside. A bit of evidence for some of this RX-7's history. Now on the classifieds, RX-7s range from between 18 to 50,000 pounds depending on the model. This one's estimate is between 14 to 18,000. So probably due to it being wrong hand drive and wrong engined as well, this is an affordable but very good looking and reliable Mazda RX-7 next door to a Mitsubishi Evo 4. This one being the top spec GSR model with 276 horsepower. It's been stored for many years in heated storage, starts and runs, but again they say it requires recommissioning. And this being the Practical Classics and Restoration show, that's quite a theme in this auction. So let's have a look in the interior and you'll see some, I don't know, they're orange or red patterned Recaro seats, 10 to 15,000 pounds. And then a Toyota Celica, this one a GT4. It's just been pulled out of storage, and I mean, it's not in the most presentable condition. As a result, the estimate's between 4,000 to 6,000 pounds. But in this corner, that's almost the barn find section. We'll save that for a little bit. But first, we have what I believe to be the most exciting lot in this entire auction. This is a genuine Lotus Carlton. So Vauxhall and Lotus produced the Carlton together. This is number 253. It was first registered in the UK and was later exported to Brunei just a week after it was registered in the UK. So I think you know where this is going. This is an ex-Sultan of Brunei collection car, one of the greatest and most varied collections in the entire world. Of course, this would have been resprayed from Imperial Green whilst he had it in his collection. And this is believed to be the only Lotus Carlton to have been released from the collection, which suggests that he has more of them. I have no idea how this has been lost and then found again and now auctioned. It obviously needs an absolute restoration, but what would you do? Would you keep it in the Sultan of Brunei spec, or maybe bring it back to its original colour and specification? I mean, the paintwork is not great on this. Inside the car, it's a similar story. The door cards are a little bit falling off, and I mean, the gear gaiter is not really attached, and it does smell a little bit old and damp inside, but everything's there. We've got little trinkets of its Asian heritage. That's an Opel logo because they were known as the Opel Omega in the Asian market. The odometer displays 20,703 miles, so it has been driven, and Lotus Archives have confirmed that the chassis, the VIN, and the engine number and the build number all correspond correctly with their records. And the estimate for this found and rediscovered Lotus Carlton is between 50 to 60,000 pounds with all the work that is required. Let me know in the comments, what would you do with this car if you won it in this auction tomorrow or Sunday? This will be the Sunday auction. This is right at the very end, one of the last lots. It's going to be so exciting to see. Personally, I would try and keep it in its condition it is at the moment, just get it back on the road and show off its heritage. Look, absolutely no paint whatsoever. So we are beginning a bit of a theme here for barn and garage find looking cars. The Series 1 E-Type, even the Renault 5 GT Turbo, this one being the Raider model. This is classed as a garage find. You've got Williams badging on it in that blue. It's the run-up production of the GT Turbo in 1990. This car's last MOT was at 54,000 miles in 2010, after which the enthusiast owner decided to put it in storage and keep it away. So the estimate between 8,000 to 12,000 pounds for this garage find. People love it, especially here at the Classic and Restoration Show, to get a project much like this that you see in front of me. This is a Austin Hereford convertible, and this one is another barn find. It is still covered in the original dust. They were based on the Austin A70, the four-door saloon, and this was restored in the 1990s, but obviously now needs another restoration. The estimate between 4,000 to 6,000 pounds. There is a massive collection of Fords and similar vehicles that have all been taken to this auction, and this Ford Escort RS Turbo Series 2 is part of it. Fairly low mileage at 51,000 miles, but again needs a bit of recommissioning. It's still covered in dust from the storage that it was found in. 12,000 to 15,000 pounds offered without reserve. The same story goes for the Fiesta and even this Ford Coupé over here. So they don't clean these cars. People want to see their absolute conditions that they have been found in or taken out of the garage in. This is a Ford Coupé 2-litre GL, and again has been described as barn find condition. Was used sparingly in its early life, then was removed from the road in the early 90s, so it only has 21,700 miles. And then we have a pair of Ford consoles. So this is a Mark 1, and next door is the Mark 2, this teal example. Again, they say it seems to have been restored at some point in its life, but its last MOT was in 2018, offered as a project, 6,000 to 8,000 pounds for the Mark 2, and then the Mark 1 next door, again, seems like it has been restored at some point earlier in its life, but is presented in a condition requiring another restoration, 5,000 to 7,000 pounds, so a little bit less for your Mark 1. You've even got this Bentley next door to them, and a car missing a lot of panels. This is a Bentley Mark 6. Apparently it does come with all the panels. In fact, the wings are behind it. They definitely advise to inspect these cars before buying to show how much of a project they are. For example, this car, the estimate's between £3,000 to £5,000 with no reserve on it. So you'd be like, oh yeah, that should be simple. But honestly, it's a massive undertaking. So in 2013 was the last time it was used, and then it was meant to be restored and never actually happened. And we've got similar stories with this Volkswagen Golf GTI. This is a Mark II. It's the later one, the big bumper model, and has got Romeo alloy wheels, the turbos. The suspension's a little bit sunk, but apparently it starts and runs, and recently has been fitted with a new battery. £2,000 to £3,000 for your Mark II Golf GTI. And then we've got the Ford Capri, another one. There's a Jensen next door to that. And again, this is another barn find. It's got the 4-litre Aston engine in a ladder frame chassis, and again based on an Aston A70, much like the car we saw earlier. But this was last run up in 1980. It's been stripped for parts, but they have also came with the car. £15,000 to £20,000 for this restoration project. We've got the Mini next door, the Austin Healey Sprite. This actually is going to charity. All the proceeds for this auction, no reserve, £2,000 to £4,000. It's been reassembled after it's been imported from Germany, rebuilt running gear, and it's just awaiting the cosmetic restoration. So Stroke Association is the charity that the proceeds for this car will go towards. But our final collection comes from a Fiat enthusiast. Now we'll start with this Fiat Stilo. This is a limited edition model, MS standing for Michael Schumacher, and this is finished in Ferrari Rosso Corsa. It's number 76 of 200 that were made, UK market, limited edition, with the 2.4 litre 170 brake horsepower engine, used to commemorate Michael Schumacher's 5th consecutive Formula One world champion with Ferrari. £2,000 to £3,000 for this pretty good condition. You've got the plaques down there as well. I think that is a bit of a bargain. I'm looking forward to seeing what this reaches. And the next Fiat to draw your attention to, this is a Fiat Bravo. This is the HGT, which is the high performance hot hatch variant of the Bravo. So 2 litre, 5-cylinder, straight 5 with 145 brake horsepower. And this car, as a result, has been restored. You wouldn't see one of these on the road and think, oh yes, that's had a full respray, window out, suspension and brake overhaul, engine work. But no, this one has, and £6,000 to £8,000 is the estimate. And then by the Mark I Golf GTI, we have an Opel Kadett D 1.3 SR. So the Opel Kadett was obviously not a UK based car, but the D was the first generation of Kadett that also was made into a Vauxhall Astra in the UK. But obviously this is an imported wrong hand drive model in absolutely beautiful condition. You've got Recaro seats. It was recommissioned and resprayed in 2022 with all original panels, correct SR detailing, which is a bit of a black body kit here in immaculate condition. 23.7 thousand miles, 10 to 12,000 So we've got 2 Series 2 RS turbos, we've got 2 Series 1s as well, and this one, the estimate is between £45,000 to £55,000. This car has not been driven for a long time. It was fully restored in the 1990s, and it comes with over 30 awards that it has won. It's even got its own original wheels and tyres to put onto the car for concourse shows. This is a full concourse edition Ford Focus RS Turbo. It's also got axle stands so you can show inside the wheel arches when putting it on show. So absolutely no MOT history visible online for this car. They've just given it its first MOT before putting it through auction. This car has always been trailered to the show and then displayed. Is it worth it just to win 30 awards and having a pristine... I don't know. I don't know if that's good. It's something that happens a lot on the Ford scene, especially with Series 1 RS turbos, but hopefully the new owner will be able to drive this to shows and enjoy driving it. Turbocharged model from Ford. But I'll leave you with 2 more cars. This Resto Mod Volkswagen Beetle from 1969. Work started in 2009 through to 2014 to create this debumpered custom Beetle with red interior. So you've got deep pearl blue paintwork with the red interior, 15-inch alloys. It's had a replacement engine in it as well. And the next door is just, you know, your standard Mini, nothing to note about this. Of course, this is a stretched limousine. That's amazing. So it's a 4-door limo, professionally converted, a 1985 Aston Mini. It was done in the early 2000s in Wales. You can see some evidence again of the work. It's got that extra window in the middle there, and you've got seats that face both front and rear. I call these the whiplash seats there. So there's a lot of extra structural bracing and a strengthened floor pan so it doesn't snap in half. It's got an upgraded A-series engine up front, carburetor, improved fuel pump, and bespoke alloy radiator in there as well, with a free-flowing exhaust system that's also had to be extended, and you got a carbon fibre wrapped roof. So it's been made for events like proms, for example. It's had little to no recent use. Estimate between £8,000 to £10,000. But from the classic car auction, that was pretty much that. So let me know in the comments which car you're most excited to see. Obviously, I couldn't film all of them because the video would be hours long, like this lineup of Minis. These are more stretched than the stretched limousine Mini in the auction. So the auction takes place tomorrow on the Saturday and on the Sunday. So check it out at the NEC, at the Practical Classics Classic and Restoration Show. But I hope you enjoyed that video. But for now, thanks for watching.